Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a huge project, you finally finish it, and then you just feel empty? Or what about this? Are you so terrified of making a mistake that you can't even get started? Yeah, if any of that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we are diving deep into our, let's face it, very complicated relationship with perfectionism. And we're going to find a way out of that cycle of burnout and anxiety and into a life with some real peace and genuine power. All right, let's do this. Okay, boom, right out of the gate, we're hitting this massive paradoxical idea that flips everything we thought we knew completely upside down. Seriously, this quote right here, this is the whole game. The core idea is that being a perfectionist, that drive for excellence, isn't some flaw we need to erase. Nope, it's actually a super powerful force. The real problem, the actual villain in this story, is that brutal inner voice that just tears us apart the second we fall short of those impossible standards. So let me ask you, are you a high achiever who deep down secretly feels like you're just never, ever good enough? Do you grind yourself into the ground, hit your goals, and then just feel hollow? If you're nodding your head right now, then this explainer was made for you. We're going to unpack every bit of this. And hey, if you're ready to totally transform how you think about success and failure, do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button right now. It genuinely helps us make more deep dives just like this one, and I would absolutely love for you to be part of this community. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the perfectionist's paradox. Then, we'll figure out what kind of perfectionist you are. There are 5 types. After that, we redefine the real enemy, learn how to trade that need for control for some real power, and I'll give you some practical tools to actually do it. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at what it really means to live a perfectly imperfect life. Okay, this right here is the absolute heart of the matter, isn't it? The perfectionist's paradox. It's this bizarre, frustrating world where you can achieve amazing things. I mean, you get the degree, you land the dream job, you crush the presentation, but you can't actually feel good about it. Instead of joy, you just get this nagging anxiety of, okay, what's next? It's like you climb this massive mountain, you get to the very top, but instead of soaking in that incredible view, you're already stressed out about the even bigger mountain you see in the distance. You hit the bullseye, but the feeling of victory, it just never ever shows up. So here's where things get really fascinating. Perfectionism isn't just one thing. It's not a one-size-fits-all label. It's more like a spectrum, and it shows up in all of us in totally different ways. Figuring out your specific type is, hands down, the most important first step to getting a handle on it, because each one is driven by a different fear and needs a different strategy. So, as we walk through these next 5 types, I really want you to ask yourself, which one of these feels a little too familiar? See if you can spot your own habits, your own secret motivations. And listen, this is a judgment-free zone. This isn't about boxing yourself in. It's about gaining that aha moment of self-awareness you need to actually start making a change. And here they are, the 5 different faces of perfectionism. You've got the standard setter who's all about results, the procrastinator who's stuck avoiding the task, the prover who's obsessed with the process of working, the caretaker who focuses all that energy on other people, and the appearance perfectionist who's focused on their image. But here's what I want you to really look at, that last column, the core fear. Each one is fueled by a very specific fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being average, fear of abandonment, fear of being truly seen. We're going to break these down, so see which one of those fears really hits home for you. All right, first up, the standard setter. This is the one we all picture, right? The classic perfectionist. Their entire sense of self-worth is tied to things you can measure. Grades, sales numbers, promotions. But here's the trap. The goalposts are always moving. The second they hit one target, their brain immediately jumps to the next, even bigger one, and they completely miss the chance to celebrate the win. Their whole journey is about learning that good enough is not a dirty word, and that their worth exists right now, not just in the next accomplishment. Oh, this one is going to feel personal for a lot of us. The procrastinator's delay? It's not laziness. Not at all. It's actually a brilliant, powerful defense mechanism. See, the fear of creating something that isn't perfect is so intense, so paralyzing, that it's safer to just not start or not finish. That way, if the result isn't great, they can always blame it on running out of time, not on a lack of talent. It's a way to protect their ego. Now, for the prover, the final result isn't even the point. Their value comes from being seen working hard. This is the person who spends hours formatting a spreadsheet no one will look at or rereading an email 50 times before sending it. Their security comes from proving their value through visible, grinding effort. The inner logic is, if people see how hard I'm working, they'll know I'm worthy.
Of course, this is a one-way ticket straight to Burnout City.
And then we have the caretaker. For this type, all that perfectionist energy is pointed outwards, at other people. They feel this intense pressure to be the perfect parent, the perfect partner, the perfect friend, flawlessly meeting everyone's needs. This means they have really weak boundaries, they can't say no, and they get completely exhausted from the emotional labor of trying to manage everyone else's happiness. It's all driven by a deep fear of disappointing people or being abandoned.
And finally, number 5, the appearance perfectionist. Their entire world revolves around creating a flawless external image. Think the perfectly curated Instagram feed, the immaculate home, the relationship that looks like a movie. This perfect facade is basically a suit of armor, a shield designed to protect them from the terrifying possibility of people seeing who they really are, messy, complicated, and beautifully imperfect. Okay, everybody, lean in for this one, because this is the big reveal. This is the core argument of this entire explainer. The problem is not your high standards. Wanting to do great work is awesome. The real toxic, soul-crushing enemy is that vicious inner critic. It's the self-punishment that comes after any perceived mistake. That's the thing we need to go to war with.
And this right here shows the two different paths we can take. It's like two sides of the same coin. On the left, you've got maladaptive perfectionism. This is the nasty stuff. It's driven by fear and shame. When you mess up, your response is to just beat yourself up. On the right, though, we have adaptive perfectionism. This is the good stuff. It's driven by a genuine desire to grow. And when you mess up over here, the response is self-compassion and curiosity. The goal isn't to stop caring, it's to shift yourself from the left side of this chart over to the right.
So the big question is, how do we actually do that? How do we make that leap? Well, it all starts with what the source calls a grand trade. We have to willingly give up the illusion that we can control external things, like what other people think of us or whether we'll make a mistake, in exchange for gaining real power over the one and only thing we can ever truly control, how we respond.
This is our first huge mindset shift. Just let that sink in for a second. Control is an illusion. Calm is the reality. We burn so much energy trying to manage every tiny detail to guarantee a perfect result. But it's impossible. We can't control it all. Real strength, real power, comes from being able to find your own inner calm, even when the world outside is totally uncertain. Mindset shift number 2 is a total game changer, and it's all about how we see failure. For the unhealthy perfectionist, a mistake is a verdict. It's a giant stamp that says you are a failure. But for the healthy, adaptive perfectionist, a mistake is just data. That's it. It's valuable information. It's a signpost pointing you toward where you can get better. It's an opportunity, not an indictment of your character. And here it is, the third and maybe the trickiest one of all. I know, this sounds completely backward, right? We're taught our whole lives that our strength is in being perfect, in hiding our flaws. But true strength, real connection with other people, comes from being vulnerable. It comes from having the guts to show up as your authentic, messy self. That right there is where your real power is hiding.
Okay, changing your mindset is awesome, but we need tools, right? How do we put this stuff into practice when we're stressed out on a Tuesday afternoon? That's what this next section is all about. This is your practical, hands-on toolkit for loosening that death grip of perfectionism. First up, a classic, the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of this. It's the idea that, most of the time, 80% of your results come from just 20% of your effort. For a perfectionist, this is a lifesaver. Your job is to figure out what that critical 20% is, the tasks that really move the needle, and give those your all. And the other 80%? You give yourself permission for it to be good enough. This is all about being strategic with your energy, not about becoming sloppy.
Okay, this next tool is for when those tough emotions pop up. You know, that wave of shame or fear after you make a mistake. It's called the emotional circle. Instead of pushing the feeling away, you move through it. It's 4 simple steps. Step 1, feel. Just let the emotion be there without judging yourself for it. Step 2, accept. Acknowledge it's real. Say to yourself, it is what it is. Step 3, manage. Do something physical to process it. Take a deep breath. Go for a quick walk. And step 4, release. Let the feeling pass through you, knowing that it won't last forever. Feel, accept, manage, release. It's how you process your emotions instead of letting them control you. So after all this work, identifying our type, shifting our mindset, using these new tools, what does life actually start to look like? This is the payoff. This is our new reality, living a perfectly imperfect life.
It's a life that's defined by joy and resilience, not by fear and constant burnout. And it really all comes down to these three powerful principles. Number one, you make self-compassion your new default setting. When you fail, your first reaction is kindness, not criticism. Number two, you start finding joy and value in the process, in the learning, the trying, the effort, not just in the final trophy. And number three, you learn to live your life guided by your deep values. That's the signal, instead of being pushed around by the constant noise of your inner critic and your fear.
And so I want to leave you with this one final question, and I really want you to think about it. What would you dare to do if you finally gave yourself permission to be imperfect? What business would you start? What art would you create? What relationship would you deepen? What incredible things are waiting for you on the other side of fear? I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now go out there and be imperfectly, absolutely brilliant.